Hey, what is up, YouTube? This is another one of my speaking to the camera videos where I either do a drum teacher rants, things I learned at jazz school, or funniest gig story. That's also the name of the playlist that contains all of these kind of videos where I don't know. In the case of today, I've finished a day of teaching and we're coming into a long weekend, holiday weekend, and just started thinking about things. And I also think it's quite nice to share stories of times where I just point blank failed and be really candid and share those stories with you guys, along with all the good stuff, overwhelmingly good stuff in general. And there's a quote. I found this quote because I thought of this and I wanted to get the quote right, so I found it here. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. And that's attributed to the Roman philosopher Seneca. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. So I wanted to tell you about a time when I failed and, to be more accurate, got fired. Stone cold fired from a gig. And I've got to be honest, it hasn't happened a lot, but when it does, boy, you feel it. It stops you in your tracks, and it can be good because you can learn from those situations and you grow in those real painful situations. And I'll try and timestamp this a little bit. I don't want to. I'll save the names and the people required just to keep things clean. It'll be pretty general. But this would have been early 2000s, long before jazz school, long before I'd embarked on a professional career playing the drums. And I mean, just being completely open and honest, I was not very good. I was playing a little bit of drums, didn't have much experience at all, and got offered this, what at the time felt like a huge gig. Now again, I don't want to be too specific here or else people will start figuring out what this is all about, but it was basically one of these TV shows that all music people will know about, and non-music people. Certain reality TV show had created a pop star here in New Zealand, and a good friend of mine was I think he was assigned to produce this person's album. And we were early 20s. He was assigned to produce this person's album and maybe engineer it as well. I can't remember exactly his role, but he was sort of, I guess, the musical director and producer of this new pop star's album. All very exciting. At that stage it was all quite new. You don't know, is this going to be like a worldwide pop sensation, or where is this going to go? And the album was really good. I think it might have debuted at number 1 here or whatever. And as it turned out, it came time to set up the band for this person, for this singer, for this pop star. And my friend who was the producer just called me up and said, "Man, do you want to play the drums for this guy and do the tour?" And he kind of sold it to me, like tour, going to be staying in nice hotels and big gigs, and I think you should do it. And I was, wow, at the time, this was a big opportunity, coming back to this preparation meets opportunity thing. And I was pretty blown away and excited and nervous and everything. And I don't even know if I was playing in a band at the time at all. And looking back, I was not ready for this opportunity. So anyway, how this played out, a friend of mine did play drums on the album, but for whatever reason could not do this tour or could not be in the live band, or didn't want to be. I can't remember. And so he ran me through a few things and sort of, this is what I'm doing here, this is what I'm doing here. And at that stage, I had no idea about charting songs, transcribing. Not that you might need to do that for this type of gig, but it's probably what I would do now. I'd probably chart everything out and make sure I'm all sorted. But I couldn't rely on that, so I just sort of played the songs over and over and tried to learn them by memory and did the best I could. I had like some kind of, what are those things called? Sound off pads on my drum kit at home at the time. Living in a residential area, you can't really play drums that much. So I'm just doing my best, hacking away. Very, very limited ability and feeling like, yeah, I've got these songs memorized. Man, some of them are pushing me, some of them not. And it came time for this first rehearsal with the band. And, gonna meet all the rest of the band and meet the singer himself, and we're gonna play through the songs. And I was told that we're gonna play through the 3 songs that I think were released as singles. So at the rehearsal, prepare these 3 songs. So being inexperienced, not knowing what on earth is going on, I learned the 3 songs. Just those 3. And we get locked in for this rehearsal. We've got this rehearsal room all lined up and big PA, and it's full noise. It's the real deal. We're going in. And I'm just kind of hanging on there by the skin of my teeth, but I can tell that, I'm not really, this is not me. Not yet. I should probably not be in this room. but I'm hanging in there, I'm going for it. And, we blow through these 3 songs and, it's not really happening. No one's overly impressed. And then I think someone said something like, well, let's do the other songs. What should we do? And went around the room, and everybody in the room knew the whole album. I think the guitarist in this band played guitar on the album. He knew everything. And I don't know who the bassist was, but he seemed to know everything as well. And I said, I haven't listened to any of the others. So again, there was kind of a, okay. Just inexperienced. When we talk about luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. You might think it's lucky being given an opportunity. You might think that part is the luck bit. You got your break, you got your opportunity, your career's starting now and just going to get better and better artists and playing with all these good players, and which is going to lead to playing with more good players. I didn't have the preparation part. Not even close. Not even close to good enough. Final straw was the bassist said something bad about my playing at this rehearsal, and he ended up taking the sticks and playing a beat. It was sort of like, do this, or just do something like this, and it was better than what I could play, or it was different. It was something that I wouldn't have been able to jump on and just play. He was like, can you do this in this bit? This was not even the MD or any hierarchical, position in this group, just the bassist who had been assigned for this session type gig. Yeah, whatever happened, and went home. And another thing with the music industry, you might not know you've been fired. You just might not get another call. And that's what happened this time. No one told me I got fired. I just didn't hear back. And I can't remember certainly was not angry at my friend who offered me the gig. He was being a good friend and thought, I'll hook up Andrew, I'll give him the gig, and I was not ready for it. So I think it's really nice to share these kind of stories with you guys, and I guess normalize these kind of fails without any, I guess, judgment looking back or anything. It's the type of gig, if I'm completely honest, that I probably just wouldn't even do now. You know, if I did get asked to do that kind of gig, I would be the one asking, oh, where is it? What are the gigs? What are the dates? You know, and be that grumpy guy. He's like, cool, who's in the band? What's the dough for this one? You know, what are we getting for it? And but back then, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, very inexperienced, and just not ready. Yeah, I mean, I would love to hear any stories you guys have of things like this. And it really does, I mean, this is going back probably close to 20 years. And the fact that I still remember this, I guess it's normal to remember things from 20 years ago, but that I deep down I realize it had an impact, had an effect. And these are the kind of things that can piece together and make you take a decision, like going to jazz school, which is what I ended up doing quite a bit after this. Whereas, you know, if enough of these things happen and you think, man, I'm not cutting it, I'm not gonna get to where I want to get to on my own, working a 9 to 5 and playing drums on the weekend, it's not really gonna happen like that. For me, I needed a bit more help. I needed to do something a bit more drastic and essentially go full immersion with the jazz course, which was 3 years of just obviously intense music. So yeah, now where does this fit into this playlist of drum teacher rants, things I learned at jazz school, funniest gig story? I guess this is another element. Worst gig story? Getting fired? Doesn't get much worse than that. Is it a best gig story? Looking back, I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't change a thing. You know, you think about doing a gig like that where you're clearly not good enough, but you do know someone who keeps you in there. I could imagine that kind of situation. That would suck. If everybody in the band's like, oh, this guy's terrible, but he knows blah, blah, blah. Is that a career? Really? I think with music, you need to be able to stand on your own 2 feet and deliver. And you know if you're delivering because you're getting the calls. You're getting those phone calls. You're getting the feedback. The instant feedback on the stage. You know, the guitarist is giving you a look. Bassist is giving you a look. Keys is like... That's real feedback in real time. And getting the call the next time, you know. Instead of, in that case, the story I talked about, instead of just not getting a call at all, you know, you want that call. Like, dude, we want you. Can we make this work out? We want you on drums for this gig. We need you on drums for this gig. You're the right person. So, yeah, that is my story of getting fired, which I'll file under worst gig story, which ended up being a blessing and a positive. So I hope you enjoyed it. Catch you next time. Ciao.